What's up, guys? Good morning. Happy Friday. Hope you're all having a good morning here thus far. Let's finish out the week strong. Market is open. Market is lower. We got a nice push off the open, and then we're now fading. Very common to see this. Remember, we are in a range market, so this kind of thing is going to happen far, far more often than not, and far more often than is even typical. But I hope you guys are doing well here this morning. So, we are doing a giveaway today. We'll be doing the giveaway at the end of the stream, as long as we hit our goal. Wednesday, we blew the goal away. Today, 400 likes by the end of the stream, so we have longer to do it. 400 likes by the end of the stream, and I will give away a 50K test account at Take Profit Trader. All right, we'll get that announcement out of the way right away. Let's get to it, man. We have work to do. Tony, good morning. Tone, what's up? Chris Castle, good morning. Javaz, how you doing? Good to see you guys. Dominic, John, JJ, Step, good morning. How you doing? Marshall. All right, guys. Well, it's about time to get to work here. So institutional orders, by the way, are well clear. Volatility has already slowed a little bit here. The University of Michigan sentiment preliminary read, which is the more important University of Michigan number, is already out. That hit about 7 minutes ago. The forecast was 53.6, and that actually hit at 60.5. Okay, so the Michigan prelim, again, the important Michigan number, they release the final about 2 weeks from now. The final, they're usually good on the prelim. They're pretty damn close, so everyone looks at the prelim. The final is less volatile. Mia, good morning. Kevin. War, C-Mac, Lee, what's up? Welcome back. Gaines, good to see you. Angel, Benny, Eric, Taz, what's up, guys? Good to see you. All right, so I am ready to rock. I think my sizing's all good in all the accounts. Yeah, we're ready to rock. Let's go. All right. Michael says, good morning. Hit the buffer. Now time to make payout money. That's always a good feeling, Michael. When you hit on a new account, on a new funded account, when you hit that buffer, that's always a good feeling. Man, especially at Apex, it's a good feeling, but at Take Profit Trader, it's a damn good feeling because you know that everything on top you can pull out pretty much right away. There's nothing wrong with delayed gratification. RB says, hey, Apex Trade Copier is not as good as Replicanto. Okay, let's just be straight up. I've tried a lot of trade copiers, and unfortunately, love Apex's accounts. Love the business. I like Apex as a company a lot. The copier, I'm not super into their copier. I bought it. I paid for it. Full price. Yeah, I think that was the Apex one. I also bought Replicanto. So the Apex trade copier was the first one I tried. Didn't like it. Bought Replicanto. Used it. It was much, much better. But then I started using the affordable indicators one. And it's, again, I have zero affiliation with any copy trader. Like, I don't know. I just don't care enough. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a tool. And the affordable indicators one is the best that I've seen. So if you're like, I don't know which trade copy to use, well, that one has given me the least amount of problems, affordable indicators. So, I don't know. Plus, I think Joel really knows what he's doing over there. All right, here we go. Nice little fade. We have 4.5 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. If we see a nice low close here, we got to think about that opening range low. But if we see a nice low close on this bar, I'll sell the rollover and look to take out some of these stops. See if we can get that going. James, what's up, brother? How we doing? Get it past, Faba. Take it slow into the finish line, but get that done. Nice big bear bar here. Look at this. I'm interested to see if we enter a nice little, if we could enter a nice little bear trend, man. I might look for kind of a core position, maybe. But we're nowhere near proving that yet. In the range market we've been in as of late, it's really tough to justify it all, saying, yeah, I'm gonna stay short all day. Just, you look at the daily bottom of your screen, it's like, maybe that's not such a great idea, because the second we start pushing the daily ATR, meaning like the average range of a current session, of a full session as of late, the bulls are going to try to step in. So, you know, what's the catalyst to push us lower all day? At some point, you just need enough downside momentum to break out of the range market we've been seeing and get the bulls to finally lay down. Or vice versa, go to the upside too. All right, so let's see what we can get going here on this bar. About 2 minutes out from the close. All right, now we don't want to see those bulls popping this back up above. Even here is kind of a big wick. I especially do not want to see in the next 60 seconds the bulls take this back above the 20 EMA. But if we can get a nice low close, 680, a little bit lower. Yeah, man, I'll sell that. You could justify, honestly, in that scenario, risking the whole curl. But the way that I'm thinking about this probability-wise is, well, we're kind of low in the existing range. If we don't take out those low stops, then my idea is crushed anyway, and I'd prefer to just get stopped out on the signal bar. So the signal bar is a little bit bigger. If we do get the nice close, it'll be a big signal bar, and I'll just risk the signal bar, looking to take out some stops lower. Again, 25 seconds. Come on, Bears, take this lower. Bulls wicking it right back up to the 20 on the 5. That's not what I want to see. I'll get ready either way here. Yeah, not bad. Big wick. Too big of a wick. It improved a little there at the end, but I was looking down here. Would have really preferred to get an entry on that bar, because again, lets me look for a reasonable distance. And then the stop losses later in the trade, which can help maybe push me to target as we sweep those lows. But, you know, hey, if the entry's not there, then none of it's there. What trade copier am I using? Again, it's Affordable Indicators. I have zero affiliation. There's no code for them, but there is code BIG for Take Profit Trader and Apex. No, but for the Affordable Indicators copy trader, I just like it. I like the guy who made it. He seems to care, whereas a lot of the other copy traders kind of make it and then abandon the project, which is not great. All right, 3 minutes out from the close here. This 5-minute bar, still similar, same idea here. We're getting a lot of consecutive bear bars. I want to get short, but I want a good, reasonable way to do it. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, okay, we got 2 minutes. We could see a close like right here. Let's sell that rollover. And oh yeah, that'd be a little scalp, because honestly, I could risk this whole curl, but if this turns into a double bottom, then I'm risking a lot for potentially a small in the money bounce if it does. And if it does turn into a double bottom, I just want to be done. But if we take out the stops, I want to be, boom, pushed deep in the money quickly, at least relatively deep to the stop. So I think I'd just risk the signal bar. It'd be maybe 25, 30 points maximum. Small little risk for a quick scalp. Let's see if we can get a good close here out of this 5-minute bar. 1:10 out. But these bears have been teasing us a little bit here today so far. All right, 30 seconds here. Come on, Bears, give us a close below, ideally below 77. I'd be cool. I'd be ready to roll. You ready? Ah, bears are killing us. Nothing there. Shrinking bear body. Gotta hold off. There's that bar that we wanted. Bruce, good morning. Yeah, that's always too bad. You know, you get really close to getting a nice little setup forming, and then you get closer and closer to the area of liquidity you're interested in. You know, had we seen this bar here, again, close here, I'd be selling that rollover. Look, take out these stops. You get a shrinking bare body, wick back, closing inside of the wick low of the previous bar. For me, I got to hold off on that. And then, of course, you get that push and take out the liquidity that I wanted. So, you know, it's always a little frustrating, but that's okay. There's a million trades that we can always take. Now, again, remember, this low here, this is pre-market. So you know, there's going to be stops here because it's obvious. But I would say likely less than the opening bar low. Now, the problem is, you might say, well, why don't you get short now? Well, the liquidity's gone out from the stops, which was a big reason that I wanted to get short. And secondly, we are, again, it's a range market. We're certainly not in a trend market. So if we enter a trend, it would be a low probability event, which I'm not really into. And the only way that it makes sense to take low probability events is if your reward to risk can be big. Really, really big. So what you end up doing is you end up taking a million little swings, getting stopped out on most of them, 90% plus, and then eventually you hit a big winner. Can be profitable. I think is very tough to do in prop accounts and even for humans in personal accounts, because it, you know, if you take those little swings, again, really low probability trades with a massive reward to risk, a 27 trade lose streak is normal. And are you going to keep trading if you've lost 27 in a row? Most people, especially beginners, the answer is probably not. You see here, those bulls wicking this back in, stepping in after we sweep those lows. Again, range market, really common to see that. Quicksilver's back. We could have been using you the last week or two, brother. The volatility has been tight. For those of you guys who don't know, whenever Quicksilver shows up, he shorts this and it drops 1,000 points. All right. Here's what we're going to do, by the way. We're watching, we're trading. Same as normal. However, today is a giveaway day. And for it to be live by 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. For the giveaway to be a go, we got to be at 400 likes, which I think we'll do without too much issue. Now, how do we enter? We're going to start this right now, okay? Entries will end at 10 a.m. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. Entries will end at 10:30 a.m. And we're not going to do it random today. Whoever in the chat, you get one entry, and we're going to check, so don't try to enter twice. Whoever predicts to the closest, or whoever's the closest, I should say, to predicting where NQ, actually, you know what? Yeah, let's say NQ, will be at exactly 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So the close into 12 p.m. Eastern Time, exactly that time, will win the account. Okay? So rather than this being based on luck today, like we did on Wednesday, today this will be based on a little bit of luck and some skill. So, 400 likes, and it's a go. But you got to get your entry in, obviously, before we hit that, which will end at 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time. The entries will lock out. You get one entry. Whoever's the closest to the tick at where the market will be, NQ, at 12 p.m. Eastern, will win the 50K account. All right? Makes sense? All right, we are 35 seconds out from the rollover here of this 5-minute bar. And I gotta tell you, I'm semi-interested. Yes, we are pushing that little range. The range on the day is larger than normal. And percentage-wise, we are making a quote-unquote bigger move than normal here on the Nasdaq. So let's see if we can get a nice close, at least below 25, I would say. Man, these bears are killing us. They're weak when it matters. For your entry, I'd like to be very, very clear. For the giveaway to be a go, the stream has to be at 400 likes. Straight up, that's the deal. 400 likes by 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's a go. If we're not there, then all of your work here kind of goes out the window, unfortunately. So we'll get to 400 likes, I think, no problem, by 12 p.m. Eastern. And you can post your guess anytime from now, or from previously announced, until 11:30 Eastern. So if you want to wait, you can wait. If you want to get it in now, get it in now. Anything after 11:30, though, disqualified. Anyone who puts in more than one guess, disqualified. All right here. So pressing the outside of the range here near the bottom. Again, range market. We're going to see a bull bounce eventually. And here we are getting it as we press through that little low that we saw, that little curl right before the market opened up. And by the way, if you submit your guess, make sure you remember what it was so we can clearly determine who won at the end. All right, 60 seconds out here from the close of this 5-minute bar. By the way, if we get, I know it's like, wow, a lot of consecutive bear bars. But if we get a nice clean close here above the previous bar's wick, I gotta buy the rollover. And yeah, I know the 5-minute 20 is right there. We've already we broke through it really without much issue. And volatility is higher. I mean, ATR is 40. So I'd be open to doing so, buying right ahead of the 5-minute 20. In a lower volatility environment, I would not. No, Benny, we are going to check. It's just for the sake of filtering out who's closest. Oh my goodness, that is brutal. Look at this. That bull bar closed exactly, I believe, to the tick at the open of the previous bear bar. That is just filthy. Gotta hold off. By the way, Caden, who won the giveaway on Wednesday, we were able to get him his account. I was wondering how long it was going to take, because obviously Take Profit Trader has to do the transfer. We got him his account same day. I believe it was while the market was still open, actually. Yeah, we had it to him within 2 hours. So, hopefully that will be the case today. All right, 2.5 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. We're kind of, let me look at this here. Range, call that 8 minus 5. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at about 180 point range. And this is already about a 90 point push. Yeah, now you're dealing with the 50% retracement. Middle of the range. Yeah, we got a minute 45 left. A lot of time. This is, well, this is actually MNQ. But I'm copy trading across a bunch of accounts. Pretty much the same as NQ, it's just the micro version. But since NQ is obviously a little more popular, very similar, but sometimes there can be little differences between NQ and MNQ. The giveaway is based on NQ. All right, 30 seconds. Yeah, I'll grab a long here. And I'm going to risk... I'm not going to risk the whole curl. I'm going to risk the signal bar. And we'll increase this and just see if we can kind of backfill that range. We already kind of dealt with the 50% retracement, at least for the most part. A lot of those orders, I would imagine, have already been filled. So we'll see what we can do here. If we can get a nice little push. 56 micros currently being traded. Yeah, looking to see if we can kind of backfill the hole, at least most of the range. I'd prefer to get a little better than 1-to-1, but not too much more. Again, it's a range market. I can't be looking for 3-to-1 on a wider stop, you know what I mean? Just too big of an ass to make out of the market. Ooh, there's a push. Look at that. About 22 points in the money. Yeah, looking to get at least I want to say 55 is kind of my minimum here. So, you know, mid 760s, maybe 770 is kind of a region I'd start thinking about taking profit. But really, I'd prefer to see a little bit extra, maybe mid 770s, 780. Yeah, we're seeing the bears step in on that push. Again, maybe here's some averaging longs that we were seeing averaging in this, now selling at maybe a small profit around break even like we were seeing here. A lot of those orders getting taken out here. Let's see if the bulls can gobble up those sell orders. Maybe take this a bit higher here. Going back to pretty much break even here on the trade. Let me show you the execution screen. Just gotta see if those bulls can kind of, well, I mean, just take out, you know, absorb is the word I'm looking for. Let's see if the bulls can absorb all these sellers. Again, I really think these are bulls averaging in on this big bear push, taking some, maybe a little bit of profit, if not just taking out a break even. That 50% zone can really be interesting. This was really strong into 50%. So I'll let that work. See if we can get a push up towards 770-ish. Vinny saying, is the 520 EMA being respected? Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to let it influence my trade too much. But, you know, it's there. It's a supporting factor. I mean, I'd rather have it be there than above my entry, right? But when volatility is a little bit higher, like we're kind of currently seeing, again, ATR's 40, which is probably about double what we've been seeing this time of day on the 5-minute chart this whole week. The 5-minute 20 EMA starts to be a little bit less relevant. Because, you know, you just get pushed around it more. Okay, so a bit of an attempt here at a bear reversal. I'm curious how this bar closes. We have about 2 minutes, 25 seconds left on this 5-minute bar here. Minute 27 left here on this 5 minute. Let's see. Yeah, I think there were a lot of bulls averaging in on this move here, especially you get a little bit lower. They start being a little bit in the green. They start selling hard. Come on, bulls, absorb this up. Yeah, 2 minute. Interesting. I mean, listen, the 2 minute 20 EMA, I throw it up for context. It's not like a big deal. It's not heavily watched enough, but you know, it's there. It's lining up within a couple of points of the 5 minute 20. Again, not big on using these as any kind of like real decision-making factor. But they're there, and I pay attention to the one on the 5 minute especially because I know that a lot of people watch it. Self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, you see here, right? Like, again, I would never take a trade just off an EMA alone, but it's really tough to call that a coincidence. I mean, essentially to the tick, you see the bulls were able to just barely hold that 20 on the 5. You know people are watching it. But these EMAs on days like today where volatility is increasing a little bit compared to the last week, 2 weeks, which is a good thing, by the way, these EMAs, they just get bullied. They're just really not relevant enough. So, I mean, remember, we always got to think in probabilities, not certainties, okay? So, looking at this chart, there's no right answer. There's always two. You got to look at both sides. So, here I'd say, let's start with the enemy, so to speak. What are the bears seeing? Well, I mean, very clearly, the bears, they're looking at this, right? I mean, you could probably draw this a variety of ways, but the bears are looking at something like this. Something like that, right? The bears are like, oh, there's a descending resistance, for sure. No way this move holds. Okay. But now the bulls, my friends right now, you know, I gotta tell you, I mean, they're probably looking at something like this, though this is more aggressive than I'd ever draw. So I'd say, yeah, I don't know about that, guys. But ultimately, they're also looking at, hey, you know, trading range day. Is there a really great reason to just fade at the 50% retracement and then all of a sudden enter a trend? We're in a trading range market. We got to backfill at least the majority of the range before we pull back down, right? We're going to want to see, you know, people buy low, sell high, and they're still waiting to take profit. They haven't been able to sell high yet. So there's always multiple looks, and you have to be open to looking at the enemy arguably more than your friends, depending whether you're long or short, you know? Derek, good morning. All right, bit better in the money here. What, 24, 22 points, 20 points. And my minimum that I'm looking for here is kind of like 55 points. High 60s. Getting up towards 70. But let's see if we can get up there. Risk on this trade, by the way, is something like 6,000 bucks. So reward's a little better than that. Come on, Bulls. Quit having trouble up there. You know, there's going to be two-sided trading here again. I feel like a broken record, but range market, range market, range market. Two-sided trading is okay. As long as the overall thesis hasn't changed too much, right? Can't expect necessarily to enter a trade in a range day and have it go immediately in your favor for 100 points. It's too big of an ask to make out of a two-sided market. What's up, Corey? Yeah, I want to get a little bit into the, I want to get a little bit into the 770s. Ideally. See if we can. Kind of low to mid 770s I'd be cool with. Whenever these bulls are popping, they're getting whack-a-moled. Yeah, Taz, top of the hour's coming. That's okay. You can't scare me with the top of the hour, at least not the 11 a.m. Eastern hour. You can always, listen, you can always find a reason to close early, to not take the trade. You can always find something. The same way you can always find a reason to put something on. That doesn't mean you necessarily should do either. This is all a weighted coin flip. So on this trade, for me, I want to get a little better than 1-to-1. You know, maybe a little closer to 1.25 to 1. And we haven't really seen that yet, so. Yeah, so at best so far on the trade, we've been about, at best, again, we've been about 6,000 bucks in the money. I need a few more points than that. I want to see mid 770s. It's kind of a minimum. Now remember, I'm watching, like, what are the arguments of both sides? I'm sitting long. I can't just look and say, oh my god, bull channel. Big V-shaped recovery. Are you kidding me? This thing's for sure going higher. That's never true. 60, 70% probability is the best you're ever going to get on futures. So what are the bears looking at? They're looking at this. They're my enemy right now, but they're looking at this and saying, descending resistance. The bulls can't take this higher. Look at this. Look at this reversal candle. This thing's going lower. Vinny says there's a 100% probability that it goes to the right. Damn straight. Well, the last giveaway we did, we hit 270 likes with no issue in about an hour. So 400 should not be a problem in the time that we've had. But we need 400 likes in the next 400 total by noon Eastern. That's 11 a.m. Central. So that we can give away this account. But until then, my primary concern is getting this market up to mid 770s. What's up, Bono? Yep, I follow the VIX. I follow the VIX more so for trading net sell options positions, which only takes 10-15 minutes a day. But I do think it's important to keep an eye on the VIX, just for overall market context, really, no matter what you're trading. Come on, bulls. Get a little bit of an expansion going here. Mid 770s, hit me out. Again, at best you're on this trade up here in the high 60s. We've been about 6,300 bucks in the green. But I want a little bit closer to 1.25 to 1 reward to risk on this trade. Given my best estimation that I can make on probability at the time of entry. Trade never after. Looking weak, bud. Take profit. Nope. We could do that. We could start taking profit nice and early. And then the equation for profitability stops working because the probability on entry changes very slightly when you start taking profits early. And then long term, we're losers, like everyone else. So no, I'm gonna wait until we get into the 770s so that my profitability equation can work with a big sample size. What's weak is taking shit early when it looks scary and being terrified of it turning around and stopping you out. That's what's weak. Well, I am running out of coffee here, so if this could hit me out sooner rather than later, I'd appreciate that. Doug, first ever payout this week. Good work, brother. I'm sure that was a good feeling. Good job. Man, I remember that feeling of the first time you ever transfer money from, well, in this case, prop firm, but from a brokerage account that's profit into the bank account, man. When it hits, that's a great feeling. It's like you printed this out of thin air off of skill. At least hopefully skill. I guess for some people it's luck, but not for you. That's a really good feeling. It's proof of concept is what that is, Doug. Now take it to the moon. The same way, if we could get these bulls taking this NQ a little bit higher, we could get hit out and then go re-up on the sauce, man. The sauce meaning coffee. Come on, bulls. Do something for me. You guys cannot tempt me to manage early. Haven't you learned this by now? I refuse. Now, sometimes there's a good reason to do it. There is zero good reason to do that here. And if it turns around, that's fine. It's part of the game. Caden says, Nico, took your advice. By the way, Caden won that account on Wednesday. Nico, took your advice a few weeks ago and sized down to 1 micro because I was on a brutal red streak. Changed a bit of my strategy and I'm back to hitting 3 to 4 green days a week. Good work. Thanks for the advice. Good work, Caden. Wolves, come on, man. By the way, 400 likes by noon Eastern, and we're giving away a 50K Take Profit Trader test account again here today. And this time it goes to whoever guesses where the NQ is to the tick, whoever's the closest, at noon Eastern time exactly. You get one guess. We only give it away if we hit the goal. You can't guess more than once, and you have to have that guess in the next 18 minutes. Man, the goal's set on math. We hit 270 in less than an hour on Wednesday. So that's on you guys, that's not on me. But this market, man, this trade, this is on me. Let's see if we can get this into the 770s. Joe says, I've adopted your patience. I no longer move stop losses. I used to move it trying to get to break even quick to take risk off. Yeah, very common. If it moves in my favor and bad habit to manage early at take profit. What happens when you move to break even and you're itching to move to break even? So many people are really, really into this idea of a free trade. But that's not real. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. You had to put the risk on. You were sitting at break even when you put the risk on initially. Okay, you can't move the stop to break even until you're in the money. So if you're already in the money, the trade is not free. Because it very easily could have just gone against you and hit with really never being in the money on the trade. So there's no such thing as a risk-free trade. It's this weird concept that we make up in our heads, and I get why. It's very fascinating, it's intriguing, but that's not how this operates. That's not how this works. So moving to break even as quickly as you can is kind of a fallacy. It can make sense to move a stop to break even in some strategies, but most of the time it's a really great way to try to protect your psychology. That's about it. It doesn't really make the data look any better, by the way. Tactical says, hot streak with Take Profit Trader, 6 days of payouts in a row. Yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, with Take Profit Trader, you can take payouts every day. You make money, you can take payout. You can take the money pretty much right away. You can do it each day. So, you know, once you get a Take Profit Pro account above the buffer, it's almost kind of like having a personal account in a way, without your actual money at risk, which is really, really nice. Bulls, you are killing me. 15 more points, man. Come on. Panther, how do you feel about leaving runners after you've taken profit? Yeah, in a trend market, it makes a lot of sense to leave a runner. In a range market, I don't tend to leave runners too much. Here, place that. Nice little pop. Take out some stops at this high. Come on, bulls. Mid-70s, let's go. Yeah, I like where that's at. Well, it's been that easy for me. Come on, bulls. 15 more. One sec. I'll be really quick. All right, we are back. Yeah, I mean, John, yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be tough. I don't know. It'd be tough for some traders. I don't care. And I know it sounds stupid. It's like, well, then why do you sit down and try to make money every day? Because I care about the end of week, end of month performance. You're getting really worked up about one trade. You care too much. And why do you care too much? Because you're probably trading too big. Yeah, see, Mike, this is how it always does kind of feel, though. What happens is, what always kind of, this is totally a fallacy, by the way, but what typically happens, how it feels, is it does this around the take profit for, it feels like 15 minutes. And then it pops through and all of a sudden pops another 25 points. It's like, we could have used this 15 minutes ago. Total fallacy. But it feels like that every time. Risk on this trade's about 6,000 bucks. So trying to get a little bit better than 1-to-1. Come on, bulls. Don't be weak on me now. Nope, submit your guess right here in chat. Right here in chat. By the way, we're doing kind of light. We're kind of light on the goal. A lot slower than when we blew the goal away on Wednesday. But if we do hit that goal by 11 a.m. Central Time, then every guess that was submitted before 10:30 Central will be included in the giveaway. Again, we're giving away a 50K test account at Take Profit Trader. We need to hit 400 likes by 11 o'clock. I still think we can do that. And your guess for where NQ will be at exactly 11 a.m. Central Time, which is noon Eastern Time, needs to be in the next 8 minutes to be included in the giveaway. 2 ticks away. This is one of those teasers, man. And there we go. We are out there for a $7,000 winner. You see this? This happens every time. Every single time that seems to happen. It's not a fallacy. This is real. You hit it out, you pop another 20 points. All right. That's fine. All right, so we're up $7,000 on the day. There's the account roster, and there is the daily P&L so far. One trade in. Let's see what else we can grab here. We were just talking about this. It seems to always happen that way. It hits your take profit, boom, pushes another 20 points. So we backfilled that whole range now. Now listen. This is a range market. If we got a big bull push into a trend, I gotta tell you, it would surprise me. If we saw a nice reversal back into the range, it wouldn't surprise me too much. It's not enough for me to take a trade on that right now. But if we got confirmation, I would not be against it. You see here, man, that 5-minute chart top left, you see those bears step in after that big push through 21.8 outside of the range, and wick it back down massively. Very typical of a range market, man. That's why we're always talking about market sentiment, right? Inertia, I suppose, is more the word we use. Gotta pay attention to market inertia. That's the biggest thing. Context is the number one word in trading, and it's the least talked about. Yeah, Lertifuse, man. In a range market, especially if you're scalping, negative reward to risk can work really well if you're scalping futures in a range market. But, you know, trading negative reward to risk in a trend market, for me, I'm much better off getting at least 1-to-1 in more of a trend market or more of a big range like today. Getting a little bit better than 1-to-1. So again, you know, looks like a really, really strong bull trend, right? And I mean, it is. It is. But context is everything. Look at the daily chart on the bottom. I think a lot of people, it's going to take some time for them, me included, to have confidence to start, you know, buying strong closes at the top of the range. So again, a fade back into the range wouldn't surprise me at all. Doesn't mean we're not going to push another, 50 points before we do that, but it wouldn't surprise me. A bull trend here, certainly possible, but it would surprise me. So I'm kind of waiting to see how this market acts up here in this region, right around 21.8. Yeah, Joe, my profit target goal per day, my big, long-term trading goal for futures is I would love to be able to average the point range on the day in points profit. It's not a dollar amount. I think having a dollar amount goal is a trap, because it stops you from being able to scale. It's a psychological hurdle that you set yourself. I'm not into that. A really elite trader, like one of the best in the world, intraday, is where that would put you. If you could make the day's range on average, on the average day. Now that's a lot. That's a big long-term goal. Right now, if I can make a quarter of the day's range in points, I'm happy. I'm happy. Now, again, that might sound like, well, that's a lot less than the full point. Yeah, that's because you have to understand that goal of making the full day's range in points is a massive goal. If you could do that, you are elite. Elite. If you can average that. So again, I think a really good goal for all of us is, hey, let's see if we can average a quarter of the day's range in points and profit. That already puts you as a fantastic trader. You're a really great trader if you can average that. So kind of a long-winded answer. That's my goal. Again, I think a dollar amount goal is a trap because it keeps you small. Points you can scale as far as you want to take it. All right. Guesses are locked. Guesses are in. I want to be able to give this account away. It's burning a hole in my pocket, but we got to hit that. We got 30 minutes to hit that like goal. We had a massive jump on Wednesday. So, you know, again, I still think we can hit it. We need to get the likes rocking and rolling. Otherwise, I can't go against my word. That's the deal, man. I want to give it away, though. It's burning a hole in my pocket. Again, we're giving away a 50K Take Profit Trader test account. If we can hit that goal. All right, I will be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. right, we are back. So, you know, again, still looking for more trades, but top left, that's the 5-minute chart. Again, I'll repeat myself. Entering a big, giant bull trend from here would very much so surprise me. We're in a range market. We haven't seen that kind of thing succeeding much as of late. So right around 21.8, I'm watching very carefully what the market decides to do here. We're seeing a lot of wicks, a lot of bottom wicks, a lot of top wicks. I think the market's kind of thinking the same way I am. Like, hey, wait a second. Yeah, this is a really strong bull push, but we're in a range market, man. We got to fade this lower. This is too expensive. Again, anything's possible. Not certainties, always probabilities. Yeah, Benny, man, hey, you're trying to scale vertically. Listen, around here, guys, I really, really believe if you're trading prop, you got to scale that thing horizontally. That's the way to go. It lets you trade smaller per account. It lets you weather the swings. It lets you blow less accounts. Scaling horizontally, if you're trying to get to payouts at least consistently without waiting 2 years to get to a payout, you're probably still going to be blowing some accounts. But the way that I think about this, scale horizontally and add accounts on different days. I don't think you should be adding all the accounts on one day. Do it over, you know, maybe try to add one account an afternoon or one account a week or whatever you want to do. And eventually you start getting big, and then the account balances are different because you started trading them all on different days, even if you're copy trading them all. That is kind of how I think. But then at some point, you know, even with the best of the best copy traders, if you have a lot of accounts, if you're at like 40, 50 plus accounts, now you're running a risk of, hey, if this copy trader glitches, man, I could lose all these. And that's when it makes sense to maybe trade them in 2 or 3 groups. I'm still trading all of them at once. But as I continue to scale this out horizontally, I'm thinking about maybe go in groups. The way that I would still be willing to trade them all at once is if I could figure out a way to cap the size of my leader account, which, by the way, I know a lot of you guys offered some insight on how to do that. None of it has worked. None of it actually works. I'm using NinjaTrader and the Affordable Indicators Copy Trader. Rhythmic, there's no way to cap the max contracts I can ever buy on the leader. I want to cap that at 1. The problem is, and that's micro, because again, I sacrifice my 1 Apex account that I use as the leader. I trade it with 1 micro so I can ratio the rest in an easy fashion. So if I have 2x, I'm trading 2. If I have, 6x, I'm trading 6. And that's a problem. Because if NinjaTrader or the copier glitches, I've had this happen in the past, by the way, with a different copy trader. And it repeat buys the leader all the way up to 100 or even 20. All the rest are getting ratioed and maxed out, and probably, I should really stop talking about this. I'm putting it out there now. And you blow all the accounts like instantly. Somebody needs to come in. I don't care if it's Rhythmic, NinjaTrader, or Affordable Indicators. Somebody needs to come in and offer a way for max position size. This is so basic. It frustrates me beyond belief because this is so simple. Like if you trade, for example, if you trade with Lightspeed broker, I pick up the phone, I call, I say, hey, Mr. Rep that I work with the same guy all the time, I need you to cap my size at this amount. He says, okay, it's done. Have a good day. Hang up the phone. Why is this not a thing at any of these other places? It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think that, maybe that's the mentality, but I would argue, well, you gain traders who are better, who keep paying you commissions for longer. I mean, come on. As many as I can, man. As many as I can. Next stop is Tradeify for me. And there's more and more props, seemingly every week. Which means you can just get more and more and more. As you can see, they're trying to the bears came in here. Here, let's go to this look. And they're like, yeah, with these grinds up in range markets, you oftentimes, this is actually, believe it or not, a lower probability event where you get this just full-on V-shaped recovery. I waited till here to enter my trade. Took profit, I don't know, I think on this bar somewhere. Yeah, like here. These moves, though, in a range market often turn into trading ranges before they fade or take a second leg higher. So, this here is kind of a sit on our hands and see what this market decides to do game. And a fade lower would not surprise me. Yeah, Cisco. So, I've looked. Quant Guard, Guardian Angel. I guess I don't really understand, like, do I use that? Do they have their own copy traders? If that's the case, I don't really want to switch copy traders. I'm very comfortable with my setup. Or is it another add-on and I still use the Affordable Indicators copier? I got to do more research on those. But I have heard Quant Guard and Guardian Angel let you to set max position. I just got to figure out how it would fit in my current setup. I don't like making changes because I've had these big glitches happen in the past. I like it when I have something set up and it just works. Okay, so it's just an additional add-on. That's interesting. Maybe I'll have to buy that. Cisco, which one you like better? Quant Guard or Guardian Angel? I've seen them both. Well, the bulls are actually, I mean, they're able to push this thing into the eights a little bit. Nice push here out of the bulls. They're really trying. We'll see, you know, we'll see if they can sustain this. I imagine we're going to see a trading range here at some point. Again, a big, giant bull trend would really, really, I think, surprise everybody here. Because we're in a range market, man. You look at the daily chart, bottom of your screen. Let's see what they're able to pull off here, though. So, okay, I'm looking at this move and I'm thinking to myself, again, top left, I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. I'm thinking, okay, would it be a valid bear entry to sell if we got a strong bull bar closing near the low below the previous bar's wick low, for example? If we rolled over and we got a bear bar that closed beneath this wick low, would it be a valid short? And my answer to that is yes, it would if you're looking for a lower probability, pretty damn high reward to risk trade. If you get stopped out, you can't be upset about it because it would be a lower probability trade. If you wanted to increase probability a little bit, I would wait for 2 or 3 consecutive bear bars closing at or very close to their lows after a trend like this. You get a big, you know, intraday move like this. I like to wait for at least 2. You know, that's why I waited for the close of this bar. I'm sorry, here. Top left. Close of this bar here into the rollover of this to buy that position earlier today. But the problem with that is strong moves like this that are really tight, especially lately in this current market environment. What have we been seeing? You get tight pushes like this in both directions. Again, this here was kind of a fluke. So I waited till this bar bought. We've been seeing a lot, not instant turnaround dump-offs. A lot moves like this turn into trading ranges first before they make this the push one way or the other. Again, either that's a second leg or in a range market more often lately it's been turns into a range, fades. So, all that being said, if we took an entry on one single strong bear bar closing near the low, we can't be surprised if we end up in a trading range for a little while before it really makes its move, which could end up being a multi-hour long trade, even if we didn't initially intend it to be that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about here, as far as my decision making. So again, right now I'm kind of thinking, all right, let's put our head down, maybe look for scalps. The ATR is falling, by the way. It's fallen a little bit. It's in the kind of like the low 30s now. We're at about 33. Earlier this was at mid 40s, which is expected this time of day, but even 32, 33 is still, that's pretty damn good for this time of day. For this week. Last 2 weeks, we've been seeing that ATR this time of day on the 5-minute chart right around 20. So being in the 30s is really, really good to see. Man, what a clean push you're out of the bulls, huh? This is one of those moves, you know, you got to be really careful psychologically. It'd be really easy here, guys, for me to sit and say, well, you know, what did I get? On that trade earlier, I ended up getting about 63 points. It'd be really easy to look at this and be like, damn, I could have gotten an extra. I could have gotten 120 points. Don't do that. That's not good for your psychology. It's a form of talking down to yourself. You're never gonna top tick this thing. What a ridiculous expectation to have of yourself. No hedge fund in the world can bottom tick, top tick. Make the best decision you can in the moment. Get your little piece and move on. The beauty of this industry is getting your little piece means millions. For funds and institutions, man, it can mean billions. Pieces are not, you know, crumbs are worth a ton of money here. You don't need to get the whole move, and you're not going to. Well, there's the attempt at that bear bar. We got about 4 minutes left on this 5-minute bar here. We knew it was coming. You know, again, if this turns into a sideways trading range for a little while, that'd be very typical of the market we've been seeing lately. Very, very typical. These tight little pushes in either direction turn into a sideways trading range, and then it makes a decision after a little while. It's rare to see a big bear move turn in immediately into a big bull move, and vice versa. That's rare in a range market like this. What's up, Simple Trader? How we doing? Doing well. Doing well, I'm good. Hope you're good too. Well, less than 2 minutes left here on this 5-minute bar. Let's take a look here. Minute 45 left here. Again, if we saw basically this bear bar retake that whole wick and close near the low, it'd be like, okay, that's a valid short, right? A valid short. It would make sense. And its probability is okay. It's not great, but the reward to risk is pretty damn good. The problem is with the context of this move, you're more than likely not looking at a big dump off yet. You're looking at a trading range starting to form. So you gotta be careful in markets like this. Again, market, context. Name of the game, can't say it enough. Kings, how many you been trading? Yeah, I mean, again, I can just my truth. Probably not the greatest advice of all time, but when you're taking payouts, and you're even if you're just convinced that you have an edge, even if you haven't had it that long, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to spend a ton of time in the eval. Opportunity cost is real. It's a real thing. Now, an eval can be a great tool to find your edge because it's really cheap. It lets you trade something with a very small amount of money on the line. Your losses are capped as far as out of your pocket. It's what you paid for the eval. And you can trade one micro until you find edge. But once you have edge and you've taken some payouts, or even just one payout or a lot of payouts, opportunity cost is something real to think about with the evals. All right, well, that's too bad, man. I have a 50K take profit trader test account burning a hole in my pocket, and we didn't hit the goal. That's too bad. We will try next week multiple times. I want to give these away, man. All right, so where'd we close? What is that? Is that 833? Ninja Trader doesn't pop up the exact number here. Looking at about 833.20, 833.50, 833 and a quarter. That's too bad. We're going to try a bunch of times next week. I think we'll probably do at least a couple giveaways next week. Got some accounts burning a hole, man. Got to get these into your guys' hands. Doug, how far back? How far back was your guess, Doug? $21,833.50. Yeah, Doug got it to the tick. I wanted to give this account away too, man. That's too bad. All right, so looking forward through the day here, AM keeps asking how many contracts did you take. You can do the math. I took 56 micros. Moving forward through the day here. Again, I really think we're probably going to see this turn into a trading range, at least briefly. And I'm probably going to put my head down and take scalps through the afternoon. Because, again, a trend would very much surprise me. But if it turns out that through lunch here, I'm going to make it a quick one today, a quick lunch, and I'll come back and sit. Again, we're up about 7,000 bucks right now. And if this turns in, you know, to a channel, we get a big bear trend, it's like, okay, this range day, you know, it's on. Top left, that's a 5-minute chart. It's like, okay, this is clearly a big old range day with trends in between, and I tend to do well on days like that. But right now, I kind of got to see how this works out. So it's a good opportunity to have a quick lunch, come back, and see if we can get some action like that going. Otherwise, if this turns into a trading range and takes a second leg higher, then we got to think about something, because then we're coming up to 22,000, which has caused some issues here in the recent past. Context, name of the game. Giovanni Joe, question, any chance afternoon live sessions are coming? Yeah, there's a good chance I'll do some afternoon lives. Again, I think it'd be a little bit different. What I kind of had in mind, I was thinking about maybe switch up the playlist, match the market vibe, things slowed down. We tend to lean into even more so just scalping in the afternoon, and maybe just kind of sit back, maybe a voiceover stream in the afternoons with maybe like a more of a lo-fi playlist, match the vibe of the afternoon, and just hit some scalps. That's kind of my idea if we end up running some afternoon streams. So again, that's on the table. But man, good day so far here today. Again, that's where we sit. I'm gonna go hit a quick lunch. I'll come back and I'll see if there's anything to hit here after that. All right, guys. Yeah, AM. I have a Discord. It's free. It's just for conversation. It's in the link in the description here. So if you guys are not in the Discord, I'd love to see that. You know, popping with you guys talking about everything. People sharing tools, people sharing ideas, people sharing strategies. It can only help. Trading's a lonely business, man, especially if you don't have someone at home. Take care of that. Take care of yourself socially, because, you know, even if you end up being a wildly successful trader, you might find yourself in a weird position where you're by yourself, you live alone, you don't have anyone to talk to, no one really understands what you even do for a living, and that's a weird situation. You don't want to find yourself in that. So surround yourself with people, like-minded people, to kind of carry you through until you do find somebody in life who gets it. All right, guys. Listen, hey, have a good weekend. I will see you in the Discord. I appreciate you hanging out. And again, rest up this weekend, guys. Market's closed. Rest up. Do your job. Your job is to rest up and come back Monday. Come back Monday, well rested, ready to rock. All right, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.